I was part of the Titanic Expedition led by James Cameron. It was kind of my first real job that I had. I finished film school. I did an indie film where I did a little webcast behind the scenes. And then I had a meeting with J.D. Cameron, John David Cameron, which is Jim's younger brother. They've seen that webcast of that indie film, and I got hired to do something similar for James Cameron. So I ended up being on the Russian research vessel. Just recently, I went through my old tapes. Yeah, I can show you. And I found all kinds of tapes that are still from that expedition. So I ended up getting myself an old deck. This one here, I found this on eBay, and it was only $180. I got the tapes to run. I'm running it through this deck and use it as a connection to my computer to then digitize all kinds of stuff. So I ended up doing that. And today I'm gonna share the material with us that we shot back then. It was on a Russian research vessel because they had 2 submersibles that can go deep enough to the ship. I was on the boat in the bow in kind of like what looked like a TV studio and just recording all kinds of, we had like remote cameras installed everywhere on the ship, and we had access to the stuff inside the submersibles. And this is where these tapes come from. So it is kind of the only time that people have ever seen this material, probably in the last 20 years. I might be the only one that still has this material. It might be somewhere in Jim's archive as well. But today, I'm going to show you this entire journey, picking up all the different stories of the crew members and what it was like back then. This is the behind the scenes of the 3D IMAX film Ghost of the Abyss. So if you haven't seen it, and after seeing this documentary of how this film was made, feel free to check it out. I'm sure it's on Amazon, or I'm sure it's on streaming as well. And here we go. Here is the entire story of the making of Ghost of the Abyss.
When I was young, Titanic was a legend. It was a myth. It wasn't until I saw it with my own eyes that it became real. It was a real event that happened to real people.
Late summer 2001, James Cameron brings together a cast and crew, scientists and historians to go on a remarkable journey. He is about to film a groundbreaking documentary in 3D about the most legendary shipwreck of all time, Titanic. Welcome to Earthship TV. I'm Tava Smiley. We brought you live coverage of the expedition as it happened, but there were many things that you didn't get to see. Now we'd like to show you the entire story. Our journey begins in St. John's, Newfoundland, on the easternmost coast of Canada. From here, it will take a day and a half to reach the Titanic wreck site. James Cameron brings with him not 1, but 2 ships on this expedition. The first is the Academic Keldysh, a 400-foot Russian research vessel, the same boat, in fact, that you see in the movie Titanic, and the only ship in the world that has 2 deep-sea submersibles. The second and smaller ship is the EOS. This will serve as a support boat for the newly developed lighting platform, Medusa. Here is a look at what's happening in the first few days of the expedition before the team heads out to Titanic.
Nasdaq 4000, stabilised VSAT terminal, and we'll have the below decks electronics linked into the production studio equipment, and we'll link you straight back to your studio in Los Angeles. I'm not too sure what you guys do with it there, but that's your job.
Right, 3 shipping containers, a 40-foot truck, lights, camera gear. You cannot believe how much stuff we have installed on this boat. Wouldn't hazard a guess, maybe 40 tonne, maybe 50 tonnes.
Yeah, this thing's gonna need some tender loving care.
To plan the dives and choreograph all the photography, we would come here and use miniatures and go through the submersible pilot.
Finally got clearance for the cable route. We'll take that down the side of the ship. That will be in a pipe that will be welded to the bulkheads at the side.
Now, I'm here last night with Jim and we walk out onto the dock. And you can see out the corner of his eye he saw a pipe on the side of the ship. He kind of runs over and says, you know, it's going to spoil my shot. The side of the ship, it's the side that we photograph. Can't have it, no way. In his mind, he just doesn't want to see it there, so...
I'm still trying to figure out what was the good news.
The good news was the great opportunity that we now have to work together and
move it again.
Yeah.
On the morning of the 16th, we'll go out and we'll do some aerial filming with the helicopter. We'll come back, and depending on how that goes, I would imagine it will be up until last light, and then we will then depart in the evening of the 16th.
All right, everybody on board is going.
To get 2.5 miles down to the bottom of the ocean. It takes a submersible that can withstand the pressure of 5,000 pounds per square inch, water so dense it could easily crush a steel safe. The Russian submersibles Mir 1 and Mir 2 were designed to handle that kind of pressure and are technically able to reach over 90% of the world's ocean. Let's take a closer look.
12,500 feet below the surface of the North Atlantic. A place sunlight never penetrates. A place sea creatures take strange forms. A place Titanic rested, unseen by humans for almost a century. Until the arrival of another strange creature of the deep, the Mir submersible. There are only 4 vehicles on the planet capable of withstanding the forbidding conditions that guard Titanic's secrets, and 2 of them are being used by James Cameron to make his 3D large format film, Ghosts of the Abyss. Mir 1 and Mir 2 are triumphs of modern technology. Their skin is a nickel steel alloy, and the glass windows are 7 inches thick, strong enough to keep from buckling under water pressure of 5,000 pounds per square inch. When they return to the surface, the Mirs are greeted by the Zodiac Cowboys, divers who endure freezing waters and sometimes rough seas to harness the craft to a crane on the research vessel Keldysh. Each new trip requires precision planning. James Cameron leads the crew through meticulous practice maneuvers of both the cameras and the Mirs. Cameron is well aware of the challenge of navigating 2.5 miles below sea level.
It's like driving a truck and you've painted out all the windows and you've taken a paint scraper and you've scraped away this much to look through. And
On the trips to the deep, the mirrors will be carrying the 3D IMAX cameras known as the Reality Camera System. The camera is attached to the front of the mirror and is designed to withstand the same conditions.
If this camera doesn't work, we might as well just not come back. Just keep going.
These cameras record their images on a special high-definition videotape, which is one of the last items to come on board. Like all tight ships, the mirror has specific procedures which must be followed.
Well, it's very Japanese, you know, you have to take your shoes off before you enter the building.
The mirrors are 25 feet in length and weigh over 18 tons. They each can carry 2 passengers along with the Russian pilot. Once again, the Zodiac Cowboys wrangle the mirror, setting her loose for another dive to the wreck. With the cruising speed of 5 knots, the mirror takes 3.5 hours to reach Titanic. Then, Cameron and crew have 6 hours to unlock its secrets that have been hidden for over 90 years. As if on board the mirror, we can begin to see them for ourselves.
Hi, my name is Michael Maltzman, and I'm the fiber optics technician for the ROVs.
I'm Danny Greenwald, and I'm sound boom operator.
I'm Kathy Swanson, and I'm a hairstylist.
Dale Hunter, and I'm the 3D systems HD engineer kind of guy.
My name is James Cameron. My name is Bill Paxton. What is my name? My name is Louis Abernathy.
The famous.
Famous, infamous Louis Abernathy. Well, the Keldish was my home in '95, and we did the deep dive for the motion picture Titanic, available on DVD. And I spent 6-7 weeks in the North Atlantic with James Cameron and the entire crew of the Keldish, which I've come to regard as my home away from home. The ship itself is like my mother, and all of the Russian crew are like my brothers and sisters. So it's like a family reunion coming back this time.
I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you and eat you.
Oh, working with James Cameron, he's, you know, my best friend, and I love working with Jim. He's a genius, you know, and he always brings really new revolutionary technology to everything he's doing. So, you know, just to be around him, you are exposed to the cutting edge of filmmaking, you know, and also the people that Jim assembles around him are the finest technicians in the world, you know, and a more talented group of filmmakers it has never been my privilege to meet. That would be Titanic. Oh, besides Titanic, I love them all. I even love Piranha 2, The Spawning. And as you can see, I'm a very busy man. James Cameron has entrusted me with putting together the grid coordinates. It's right here, buried underneath all this. Now this is just a rough outline, but we're going to map out the bow and stern section as well as of the Titanic, as well as the biggest mark, so that by plotting grid coordinates we can tell the chandelier exactly where to go. For instance, you know, you could say E7 as opposed to just aft of the number 4 funnel or where it used to be. So to keep the communication to a minimum, Jim just can say E5 or J7, you know, you sunk my battleship, and they'll drop the chandelier right on the target grid. But we're going to attach this to the outside of the Mir submersible in front of the porthole so that you, the viewer, can watch this head get small. So this is one of my projects is to demonstrate the effects of water pressure at depth. So I got old Curly here to show the kiddies what happens when you have 5,000 pounds per square inch applied to your head. It gets small. Oh, I'm learning Russian. And that's about it. Not much else to show you, unless you want me to drop trowel. You guys get that? He wants me to make sense out of this.
Paxton and James Cameron first met on the set of a low-budget Roger Corman film called Galaxy of Terror, where the two spent many nights together creating futuristic sets out of what most people would have considered trash. Jim was the art director and Bill worked for him as the set dresser, and since then Bill has starred in many of Jim's movies, and the two have become close friends. Jim asked Bill to come with him on the Ghosts of the Abyss expedition so he could share with his friend the experience of going to the Titanic wreck site and seeing it firsthand.
Less than 24 hours. All goes well. This time tomorrow, I'll be at Titanic. It's just knowing what happened here that gives it its gravity.
It takes a while to seep in. It's exciting because it's almost like no time has passed. All the stuff that happened in between didn't happen. You know, I didn't really get like an emotional hit from it until well into the diving program.
I sometimes think Jim Cameron has more faith in me than I have in myself, but hopefully he has enough faith for both of us. I still can't believe I'm actually sitting here.
Welcome, my brother.
Thanks. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
We're on your way. You're on a Mir dive.
Now it's almost pitch black out there. How deep are we now?
75 meters.
75 meters, so that's about 250 feet. It's already getting pretty dark.
Now you can add that sweater under that if you want.
I'm ready for the polar Arctic Circle.
We're going to be down here 6 to 8 hours, so.
Not really that cold yet, but
on the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, I see the bottom. My gosh. Well, we made it to the bottom. The bottom of the ocean.
We are 3,800 meters here. A little over 2.5 miles.
Titanic.
There it is. I can get everybody now. That's good. That's a good shot. That's a keeper. We're very close.
How far from Titanic are we?
200 meters.
200 meters.
No, yes.
500 feet. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, that fish doesn't have a tail. It looks almost like it's part fish, part eel.
That's a rat-tailed fish.
And its eyes kind of lit up.
Yeah, that's what lives down here.
Oh my gosh. Kind of a scary looking fish. I see some debris. That's got to be off Titanic. Right there.
Yep.
See? Boy, that's amazing just to see something like that.
You're just going to see the bow. We're going to run right into it, Bill. It's going to come right up on you.
I'm starting to see something. There it is.
You see it, Jim?
I see it. I see. Oh my gosh. My God, there it is. Titanic. It's amazing to think that we're at that place where the ship came to rest all those years ago. I can see the anchor crane, I can see the front bow railing, I can see the capstans.
That's Medusa. This is unbelievable. No one's ever done this.
It's amazing. It looks like a beautiful moonlight on the top.
Just like that.
Just gorgeous.
My name is Sven Pape. I'm the director of photography of the film called Ghost of the Abyss. I also have another role as the one of the principal designers of the 3D system for use in deep water applications and topside.
Might as well take a look at it. Let's go up full height on the arm, see what we get.
I first worked for Jim on the Abyss. I worked again with Jim on Titanic and was on the deep dive crew back then. My specialty really is water related. You want to take something around water, I can provide it. As this started to develop, I think Jim and I both realized that there wasn't too many people blazing the trail for 3D with this type of equipment. And since I was very familiar with the electronics of these cameras, lens control, Jim and I kind of threw caution to the wind and said, let's develop something together. Most people relate to 3D as an effect. You see the image come at you off the screen and towards you. But we're trying to do it as much more of what a person would see if they were there.
That's one camera body. And this over here is a separate camera body, each with its own lens. And the two bodies converge outward or inward, depending on the convergence, which is how the eyes meet, which creates the 3D effect.
I'm looking at both lenses as an overlay, and I'm bringing them together to make the point of where the 3D happens for the shot. The two cameras are shooting like this, and the convergence is this, matching them together to where the focus is on the shot.
It works much the same way as the human eye.
Correct.
In order for us to move around right now, it's about 4 or 5 people, and that's being somewhat conservative. And that's all in support of that handheld person walking around with a simulated camcorder, acquiring some fairly complex but impressive images.
Shooting backups in case the 3D doesn't work?
Yeah, this is my backup. I wanted to have 2 cameras side by side, but I didn't get a chance to finish it done. My dad is an accomplished machinist, immigrant to the United States, has always worked with his hands, was very creative. I was fortunate enough to grow up working with my hands. So now if it's not built, I could go back there at my facility and build it.
For every dive mission, the 2 submersibles were launched off the main deck of the Keldysh into the water by means of a crane. Now, the Russian crew has performed this procedure for countless dives, and most of the time it's a routine operation. Not so for Dive 2, when the Keldysh was caught in the wake of Hurricane Erin, facing sea swells of over 20 feet.
Well, right now you can see that Mir 1 has made the surface, and we've got a little bit of sea here. The Koresh, that's the big boat there, the whaler, it's making its way over to the submersible. The 3 men in the Zodiac, what they'll do is they'll take a rope and attach it to the Mir. It's a tough job. See, these guys have full wetsuits, but it's minimal protection against that water. That's Captain Lev behind the wheel of the Koresh there, and he's probably the finest small boat captain on the North Atlantic. He's trying to line it up with the port side to the crane where it can hopefully be recovered. Now here comes the tricky part. This young man has to take the coupling and secure it to the submersible so that the crane can bring it aboard. In rough seas, this is probably one of the hardest things to accomplish because that's a special coupling and it has to be absolutely perfectly straight to hook on.
If the sub's position is off just a little bit, the coupling can stretch and the guideline rips. You have to start all over again. At that time, the hardest thing is to stay on top of the submersible because you can't really do anything as you are crushed by the waves. It drains the life out of you.
In August of this year, James Cameron announced that he was heading back out to the Titanic to shoot another movie. Well, no, not a movie, this time a documentary. And not one that you could see in just any theater, but one that you would have to go to a specialty theater to see, one that would accommodate a large format, high definition 3D film. While we were out on the Keldysh with James and his crew, we saw, with you, some of the most amazing and innovative filmmaking that has ever taken place on a ship. In this next piece, we'd like to show you what just a normal day on the Keldysh was like.
What we're doing is we're shooting, I don't know
what the heck we're shooting. I just set the cameras up, man.
You're asking the wrong guy. I haven't got a clue.
We put the crane on the ES here to use this as a camera platform.
So it sounds like a fun night of adventure.
We've switched our whole base of operations to this ship, which is not an easy thing to do. So
That's exciting.
we're going to shoot some shots with the crane, basically covering the Keldysh from a different perspective.
Right now, it's holding. It should hold for the rest of the evening. We shouldn't have any troubles.
Yeah.
Do I enjoy it?
I've never done it like this before. Every time you raise that bucket up high, you're suddenly at the whim of the ship. So if you're sideways to the swell and you've got that bucket up high, it just wants to take you over with it. You're pretty much hanging on for your life there. Of our Medusa chandelier light leaving this ship and being dropped in the water. So we want to get these shots. We're going to do a daytime launch and a nighttime coverage.
How'd it go? Got what we wanted, I think. Another day, another shot.
My name is Ken Marshall, and I'm sort of the visual historian on this expedition. I'm here to help Jim Cameron identify and recognize parts of the ship and things that we may see in the debris field.
I'm Don Lynch, and I am one of the historians here, and while Ken knows the ship, I know the story. So
My name is Pat Miller, and I'm a camera assistant. At least that's what they say.
My name is Bill Paxton. I am a member of the expedition. I'm looking in the wrong place.
Look at me and do it again. While James Cameron was taking a closer look at the Titanic, we introduced you to some of the people brought along to make it all possible. Our nonstop coverage allowed us to bring you the expedition, but we wanted to make sure that you got to see the journey through some of the crew members' eyes as well. And one of those was Rich Robles. And Rich, I don't even know if there was a title for what Rich did. Take a look.
Andy, is Andy there? Okay.
We're gonna go anyway.
Copy that. Name's Rich Robles. I start off in communications. On the bottom, mirror one. Yes. Then made first AD because I got a voice that carries. You guys are getting too close. Back off. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Get that. But when they realized I couldn't spell AD, they brought in a new one when we hit St. John. Sven, I want you to meet the super AD who made it possible that all of us. So now I'm just rescue diver. Every time Jim goes in, first one to go in with him. So when he's down in the subs, I'm the scuba gear in case last minute ditch. I'm there to cut away something.
anything goes down in the water, I'm the guy that's bailing them out.
Yeah,
I'm taking my dad with me.
You are, and I'm going to give you a xenon spotlight.
A xenon spotlight, why?
Why? Because it's the most powerful handheld spotlight known to mankind.
What I need is a shot. I do want to go the front of the garage going, is anyone out there? With the xenon, okay? And I then come in,
make it ridiculous.
strip this, Willy Wonka suit off, put on my dive suit, grab it, wrestle it. After I find it with the world's brightest light known to mankind, provided by Pace underwater camera system. Then I switch over, grab it, hog tie it, time me, and then we'll launch it up.
It's a Marine Corps mission.
Yes. So why am I wearing this? I never wore this color.
We're sending out. Yeah, you get shot at every
run around
time.
bright orange. Josh?
My name is Randy Wimberg, and I'm the topside camera operator on the 3D high-def system.
My name is Andrew Watt, and I'm the producer.
My name is Adrian de Groot, and I am the ROV design engineer.
Ed Marsh, creative producer.
John Bruno, I am producing, one of the producers on the Titanic segment, potentially a co-producer or co-director of a video segment.
Sven Pape, I'm the webcast director.
I'm Thomas Smiley, and I'm the host of Earthship.tv.
What's my job?
Hi, I'm Todd Kogan, and I'm your, I don't know, what do I do? No, my name is Todd. I am a tape jockey and assistant editor that doesn't edit.
I expect to see things that no one's ever seen before.
I'm hoping that the image that we get back will just blow everybody away.
It should be able to move like a ghost through the corridors and the stairwells and the chambers and the rooms of the Titanic wreck. And I think that's pretty exciting. That's using technology to create this kind of living history. Well, in '95, we went there to image the Titanic wreck. We needed a shot of the bow, we needed a shot of the submersibles traveling over portions of the ship, and we needed to release a remotely operated vehicle. So we built a very low-cost remotely operated vehicle. It was essentially a glorified movie prop. But on the very last dive, I got kind of carried away and aggressive, and I thought, well, let's take this thing as far as we can take it inside the ship and have a look around. The problem was we ran out of rope and we could only go in a few feet. So we thought, well, let's do a ground-up design for a vehicle that can explore a very large, very complex shipwreck at great depth. And that vehicle took 2.5 years to develop.
Nothing is like this. Nothing is dived this deep, that is this small, that has its own fiber optic cable and its own power source. There are 4 thrusters that move the vehicle forward and aft, and also they work to pan the camera. And then we have a head assembly that has the lights and the cameras, and that tilts independently. And then we have a spotlight and a floodlight that should get the pictures that we need in complete darkness.
The beauty of them is that they trail a fiber spooling behind them that can come out over 2,000 feet long.
This little cable is the communication source for the ROVs, and the ROV is totally dependent on this tiny little cable. They call me ISO man because I'm so structured and everything is the same and every measurement is exact and all the cables are exactly the same, and I don't like change. I have to use 5 different sizes of heat shrink. The lengths have to be exact. Everything has to be an exact measurement so that it'll fit. And it gives us the ability to be able to go in, one window or one doorway and not have to come back out the same way, kind of like a spider spinning a web.
With 2,000 feet of tether, we really have unlimited capability to explore and image the inside of Titanic and of other wrecks. If the ROV doesn't come back, then that's okay. This project, I've been able to work on something and actually see it come to life. That enough is cool for me. This is a great honor to be working on this project.
Jake and Elwood got their names as the result of a bot naming contest amongst the crew. Ed Marsh, one of our producers, was the lucky winner. He named them after the Blues Brothers.
Right there, in that attitude. Hold there. Oh, it bit me.
The Titanic sank on April 14th, 1912. She rested on the ocean floor, unseen by human eyes, until 1985, when Robert Ballard led the first expedition to the wreck site. Since then, there have been several, including the one led by James Cameron 10 years later. While James was at the site, he knew he would one day return with a camera that would enable him to go inside in order to unlock some of her many mysteries. So, thanks to Jake and Elwood, the two bots designed by Jim and his brother Mike, we are now able to see parts of Titanic that no one has laid eyes on since that fateful night when she sank into her ghostly world.
favorite moment on the trip so far is when the mirrors came back and both the ROVs were there and they completed a successful dive. That was definitely the best.
The favorite thing that has happened to me is finding myself suddenly pulling focus for James Cameron.
Next question.
What's the worst experience you've had out on a ship?
Next question.
Basically, I just gotta stand here until someone tells me to do something. That's about the extent of my job. Gone from IT to tape monkey. Now I'm grip. Who knows what I'll be by the end of this trip? Follow this guy around.
Yeah, we're rolling. You got speed?
I'm Mark's new bitch. George used to be his bitch. I'm taking over.
AJ, I'm glad you're here.
Is that a good frame, Randy?
Look at this guy. Me in 30 years.
All of us are. Boy, won't you look good. How old are you? 14?
19.
19. Jeez. Must look pretty cool though. More probably one of them computer geeks. Huh?
Yeah, it's my trade, man. What can I say?
Did you get into it at 19? Or earlier, I should say.
It's always one of those things. I got a computer when I was like 12 or something like that, and I just sat down and taught myself.
Did you go to college?
I went for a year, but I graduated from high school in 3 years, and went to California to work for a porn company, actually, as a computer programmer. So
you can cut on.
Yeah, hey, go for it, keep it.
Do your parents
It's an
know
adult
about
industry.
Yeah. Do your parents know about this?
My dad does. My mom just knows I was programming. She doesn't know what for. I don't know how much she'd approve of that. What?
Did you get laid a lot?
Sad to say, surrounded by porn stars, didn't get any action.
I think his mom knows now.
Oh, she might, I don't know.
He's a part of the grip electrical team now, since the IT is kind of like not up on the bird yet, if that's what they call it. The bird's not up, or the bird's not awake, or... So whenever he gets called to do the computer work, then he gets pulled out of my department and back into his department.
Well, I like the way you stood up for him in the collection meeting.
He was great. He was great yesterday. AJ.
Yeah, rocks! Alrighty, I'll let you guys meet.
Alright, thanks. We better wrap some cable, making ship shape. Big storm coming.
Batten down the hatches.
We'll be right on that. Excellent!
When you send a little robot into a big ship, especially one that's 2.5 miles below the ocean's surface and virtually untouchable by man, there's a very real chance that that little robot won't come back. Here's what happened to Elwood during Dive 7.
It's sad. It's a sad day for bots.
It's still lost. Over.
Stuck on the roof.
Copy. 80 meters due south. Over.
Bit of excitement because the ROV was lost in the wreck.
Fortunately, the last transmission that we got clearly was at 1604.
Bringing it back is even risky, so...
They should be able to take the manipulator arm and pull it out, unless it catches on something on the ceiling. But,
yeah. Long and short of it is that they've decided to abandon the ROV at the bottom of the ocean.
upside is we got some amazing shots. The downside is we lost a $500,000 ROV.
It was decided we should make the bots a little lighter so that they're aiming their thrust upward in order to move down toward the floor and they're not stirring up all the dust. And that's a good plan. It really works so long as one of the bots doesn't die in mid-flight and float up to the ceiling and become very difficult to rescue. That was the only scenario that Jim was really worried about, and guess what scenario we're in.
I've had a debate with myself as to whether I would even ever try a rescue, because better to lose one than to lose two. But the mission now is to get Elwood back. But we got to think through every single step, all the way back to the sub and back into the garage. We don't have an ROV, so we've got nothing else to do but go rescue it. What would this stick to in a random environment? Because if we want to put it on the bottom for rescue capability, is there anything just like around inside the wreck that it can actually like just kind of like hey, I'm not going anywhere. But I think there's a way to bring it back.
I've got some lead, 1/8-inch lead sheet that's stacked up to make approximately 3 pounds, because we're guessing that 3 pounds is what's going to take to bring bot number 1 off of the ceiling. So I take this, put a bunch of Velcro on the top, stick it up to the Velcro that's on the bottom of bot number 1.
And then that way Elwood will come down.
And they can wiggle their way out, come back to the submersible, grab it with a manipulator,
and stuff them in the garage. Shuffling out the Yankee workshop.
Could be a very long dive. That's all I have to report so far, but when we find out more, I'll let you know.
The morning of September 11th started off like any other day on the Keldysh. But during a mere dive to rescue Elwood, a phone call was received from headquarters describing the horrific events that were occurring in New York and Washington, D.C. When the Mears returned, a decision was made to postpone operations for the next 5 days, and the Keldysh and crew returned to port in St. John's to regroup. Here are some of the reactions.
It's as unbelievable and dreamlike as where we've just been. We've come from a dream into a nightmare.
There's been a major terrorist attack on the United States. The World Trade Tower was hit by 2 separate hijacked commercial jets between 8:42 and 9:03. 2 jets collided into the World Trade Towers. They are both in rubble. There's been some major terrorist attack. They don't even know how many people are dead right now.
Wow. We heard this thing on the radio down in the mirror, something about World Trade Center. Do you want us to abort the dive? And they said, no, don't abort the dive. And we thought, well, it must be a joke then. Why are you calling us to tell us this?
Yeah. What's this thing that's going on?
Jim, it's pretty bad.
Is it?
Yeah, they're calling it Black Tuesday. They don't even know how many people are dead. Two jets were hijacked and crashed deliberately into the World Trade Tower.
No.
20 minutes apiece this morning, 8:42 and 9 a.m.
You're joking.
Both towers came down within an hour. They don't even know how many people are dead. It happened about noon. We are all going down to lunch. A plane struck the World Trade Tower, the South Tower, at 8:42. 18 minutes later, a second plane crashed. One was Flight 11 out of Boston. It was carrying 156 passengers were in both planes. It's a major thing. See
Are they
this.
getting anything down in Mission
Yeah, we
Control?
got a little bit of an image. They have actual footage.
All right. So we're pulling anchor right now, right? Heading
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Get
As soon as I get
Koresh
Koresh,
and the Zodiac back on board and make a beeline.
Yeah.
We have also special letter from our institute, from U.S. citizens on board research vessel academic Zdislav Keldysh. On behalf of all the employers of P.P. Shishov Institute of Oceanography, I express my condolences to the citizens of United States in respect with the terrorist acts in Washington and New York. We condemn those who are responsible for those inhuman deeds. Your mischief is ours as well. We all must do everything depending from us to stop the terrorism. There must be no room in the world for the creatures who have no care for the human lives. We share the sorrow and indignation of the American people. Director of the Institute, Professor Sergei Lap.
The fact that they played God Bless America, you know, over the speakers in our dining room on the 12th, the day after at dinner that night, you know, they were thinking about it. You know, it was in their head what we were going through.
Out of respect for the dead and injured, we're going to suspend any production activities today. Tomorrow we'll have a shore leave in St. John's. This isn't defeatism. This is just a sense of respect for the magnitude of the event that's taken place, and the fact that we all have families and all of us are affected by this, and we need to be sure that our situations are stable and safe before we can proceed with our work.
No, it's all rubble on the table.
My name is Lori Johnston, and I work for a biotechnical company, but right now I'm looking at Rusticles on board the Keldysh in the middle of the Atlantic. Rusticle is created through microorganisms, and the structures that you can see dripping off of Titanic, which are sort of icicle-like, those are the Rusticles.
Are you completely happy, satisfied, or would you like more samples? Or
I'd like a bigger sample. It's not because they're not intact enough to see the surface structures, but because it would be nice to actually x-ray a fresh one.
See two of his cast members, Louis Abernathy and Bill Paxton, as they are giving her some last-minute advice. You can see Lori Johnston standing there in her suit, all smiles as she's about to go down to the Titanic. Lori Johnston is one of the members of the crew of the second-year submersible. We'll be talking to her later. This is the first day they will be using. You're starting the process of learning from not only Titanic, but you're learning from the horrific accident.
Maybe we should split it to the Osprey camera or something.
That would be great.
So that it's, I mean, to the monitor for the Osprey.
Put them over here. That is amazing.
What you got there, Charlie?
Look at that.
Maybe on the broken
Not a
part.
lot of internal structure visible yet. Or that one.
There should be. That looks pretty intact.
Yeah, there's some cavity.
Yeah, but this one here, the hanging rusticle.
Ooh.
Look. Stick it up. See, the problem is that once they start
Yeah, we
drying
got
out,
hydrozoans on top of it.
they change quickly.
Yeah.
The structures, the colors, everything changes. It's just amazing. Can you smell that? That's a small rusticles, baby. It's a very surreal experience, and I think it's going to take me a long time to have it really sink in. I got to see my rusticles in the in situ situation on Titanic, and it was just an amazing experience. I think that down the road, it's really going to sort of have some life impact on it.
Taste?
No, I'm good, thanks.
It's definitely zinc. You can taste the iron in it too.
So you shouldn't really do this, but as a species, we are so fast to get where we're going, yet we have no idea where we're going, that we sort of forget to stop and learn a lesson from whatever it is. And Titanic is just one of a million.
One of my favorite moments that I will always remember is when I made a discovery of my own on the wreck of the Titanic when I was in Mir 2 on August 27th. I was down there with Zhenya and Louis Abernathy, and we had a few moments of spare time. We were right near the port side of the officers' quarters, and I wanted to look to see if there was a little brass nameplate over the doorway on the port side there that would say officers' quarters. And so Zhenya was real nice about it. He brought the sub right up there, and we shined the lights up there and looked above the door into the rusticles, and sure enough, there was this little brass plate that said officers' entrance.
The best experience always on the Keldysh is the time I spend with my Russian friends.
Coming back to St. John's and downloading our first batch of tapes, getting them out of our hair and knowing that they were safe in Los Angeles.
When I jumped overboard and swam in the North Atlantic near the Titanic.
It's still lost. Over.
A bit of excitement because the ROV was lost in the wreck.
The upside is we got some amazing shots. The downside is we lost a $500,000 ROV.
Throughout everything, the bot Elwood remained alone inside Titanic, and despite several failed rescue attempts, James refused to give up. He decided to dedicate one final dive to bringing his trapped bot home. Elwood's partner Jake was going to go on this crucial mission, this time with a simple plan.
What about
I'd like maybe you and Zhenya and Victor to look at the rigging that we have for the rope to see if there's a tube right on the side of the vehicle, right next to the camera. The tube has a slot on the side that the rope can come out. So we drive forward, we can see this, we can see these hooks. We push it into the screen and pull back, and it hooks. And as we pull back, this comes out of the tube and stays. Let's talk again.
Yes, I think we should.
Yeah, let's get a group. Let's get everybody to work. Let's go for a drive and see if he comes with us.
We are going to the recovery position and we're going to stay clear of Mir 1.
Looking right into the entrance vestibule.
Where is my little bot now? Tell you, ask if they can see the ROV.
To the left. I see. Yeah, we sure do.
Yes, we do. He's behind you and slightly above you.
All right, time to go for the kill.
I think we got him.
You think?
They're coming this way.
We either have them or we don't have them.
Good. Look at that. Oh my God, he got it! Back off. Pull away. Oh my goodness, he... Tell him congratulations.
I got him. I got him.
Bam! He's melted down inside.
Just great. I was pacing back and forth like an expectant father. I was nervous, wringing my hand. I didn't know what to do. I made 6 cups of coffee. These battery manufacturers brought on board batteries that represented problems because they had not been tested, and we ended up actually burning up one of the ROVs. So the damaged ROV was repaired, brought back online, rebatteried with our own system, scavenged from parts on board Keldysh, and it dove again. And that is an extraordinary accomplishment by the guys. And I'm very proud of to have been the one that piloted the ROV on the last dive.
Over the past weeks, we've been giving you a look at the production of Ghosts of the Abyss. Today, for our final episode, we thought we would give you an inside peek into the making of the webcast. Now, there were only 5 members of the web team on the boat, and that is including myself, but add in all those people here at headquarters, and you have got one of the biggest webcasts of its time. Take a look.
Sven, are you ready for the show to go out?
I'm a little bit behind, actually. Still have to cut one piece, but quality. I always look for quality. So.
What we're doing is we're running cable along the pipeline all the way across the ship. These are going to feed the signal from the adventure cams that are located 10 different places around the ship. They're going to send the signal back to mission control down on the 2nd level.
Bots perform flawlessly. I mean, look at Jake. I mean, there he sits. Been through many an adventure.
This is all the satellite feed coming down. The master pipe is tied into the emergency shaft. All our cabling runs down the ladder, but it still keeps the ladder open for people to go up and down. And it keeps our communication hatch to mission control open. And this is how we communicate with mission control. Mission control!
Hi there and welcome to Earthship Television. Wow! Hi there and welcome to Earthship TV. We've come out as an internet crew. I am Tava Smiley, standing on board the Keldysh to show people basically behind the scenes a Russian research vehicle. It's not a freaking vehicle, it's a Russian research vessel. So you'll see the lives here, the wrecks there. I was almost there. Are you guys scared? Don't be scared. Standing on board the Keldysh, a Russian research vehicle. Are you nervous? Don't be nervous. Take 67! Anyway, it's going to be a great deal of fun, and we really hope that you stick with us. Sven, you're killing me. I know. I just went way too far. This is the perfect one. This is the one everybody's been waiting for with bated breath, as we chronicle the lives and the shipwrecks that are happening now in my elbow. Yeah, all right, I guess that wasn't the one. Do that again. Hi there and welcome to Earthship TV. I am Tava Smiley, standing on board the Keldysh, which is a Russian research vessel out in the middle of the North Atlantic, where we are broadcasting to you live and will be every day as we follow an amazing expedition. James Cameron has come out with his crew and with a team of scientists and historians. Well, it's going to be very exciting, and I really hope you stick with us for this journey here at Earthship TV.
I'm comfortable. I'm surprised at how comfortable.
This is the Cadillac of the deep.
Sure is.
All we need is a little cup holder, you know, in-dash AM FM radio.
I forgot my CDs.
Oh.
Music.
Okay, here we go. Now we're on the superhighway. It's the Mir 1 superhighway.
Can we take a sign down next time?
All roads lead to Titanic.
Put them for you.
Check out the, you want to see Titanic on the sonar? Check this out, bro. You're going to love this. It's like, there she is, baby.
Oh, man.
Look at that. You can see all the detail right up to the superstructure.
Production value.
You think?
I see it.
You getting a visual?
Yeah. Just let me know when you want to start rolling some of this, Jim.
Oh my God. Beautiful. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Fantastic, Toya. Beautiful, beautiful work. Beautiful work. This looks good in 2D. Gotta guard your shit, man. I always bring my own stuff.
Oh, wait, what happened to those demands? You don't bring anything into Mir 1.
I only hurt myself. It's not like I'm asking you to keep my gack on your side.
No. And I can't keep it if you want.
It's all right.
It just, then it becomes my gack.
Yeah, right.
As you can probably imagine, after 2 months of being in production aboard the Keldysh, it was a time of mixed emotions as our days at sea were drawing to a close. The Russians had a saying, it was a little bit devious: what happens on a ship stays on a ship. I think I can speak for our entire crew when I say that wasn't true for us. Most of the things that happened to us aboard the Keldysh will stay with us forever.
It's been a lot of hard work, and it's been very rewarding seeing the images that Jim has filmed. It really makes it the whole project come to life.
Being down there and seeing all new things that I had read about, but there's just something about the presence being down there.
Fantastic is the one word that comes to mind, because everything about it has been great. I've experienced things that I never thought I would experience.
Incredible. It's been an emotional roller coaster ride for everyone, including myself. And it's good and it's bad. It's I guess that's life, or as the Russians say, life is life.
The new friendships that I've made, I hope I can carry them way into the future.
I've met a lot of interesting people, a lot of interesting crew members, very talented people from all over the world.
kind of become a second home to us.
It's a big job, but I think we'll get it done.
10,000 pounds worth of stuff.
Gotta start somewhere.
2 days. 2 days to get all that done.
Long way to go, though.
Now, you can see the incredible detail of what we have to go through. We've got everything from our own tools, gaffer tape, connectors. Can't tell you how many cameras we have. They're just a whole mess of these things. These 3D camera systems, we have 3 complete systems. Batteries, there are over $50,000 worth of batteries just to power up the camera systems. And as you can see, there's stuff everywhere. Tripods, cases, boxes, So my next mission is to get all of this in some semblance of order, packed up and off the ship.
Too heavy for the big man.
You guys have a lot to pack.
Tava, how are we going to handle this?
I don't know.
Jeez.
And we've got all of this, miles and miles of very expensive coax cable that goes all the way down to mission control, deep in the bowels of the ship. We've got to pull all that out, wrap it up and take it off.
See you guys in a little bit. Yes, this room is mission control, and it is not very controlled right now.
This has to come off the ship as well. It's welded on. We have to get a team of welders to cut it off and then stick back the bits that cut off.
Can we tell these people what this is now?
Don't even bother asking me because there's still too much stuff and not enough time.
Look, there goes ESTV. While everybody else is working, they find time to dance and play. See?
I quit.
Well, we have reached the end of our series. We hope that you've enjoyed yourselves as much as we have. And please look for our DVD, which will be coming out very soon. And also prepare yourselves to experience this journey in a way that is unprecedented when you go to the theater to see James Cameron's 3D high-definition film, Ghosts of the Abyss. From our headquarters here in Los Angeles, I am Tava Smiley, signing off for Earthship TV.
This is an old United States naval tradition, and back in the day when we were at war, submarines particularly would fasten brooms to the front of their submarines. It was a signal to other captains that their operation was a success. In other words, a clean sweep.
Here's our Russian shot glasses here. It's a token. It's like good.
Understand the bottle.
All right, in the grand tradition of the endless Russian toast, I would just like to thank everyone for everything that they've done, and for doing the work, and for figuring out how to work this new technology and making it all happen. And I'd just like to thank you one and all, not just as a producer, but as somebody that was kind of in the trenches there and working with you day by day. And so here's to us, and here's to that.
Goodbye is Russian «До свидания». Всего хорошего. Всего хорошего. До свидания.
Mission accomplished. Clean sweep.